third book talk, online book talk. After successful 2 book talks, we are here with yet another interesting book talk. And I'm extremely delighted to welcome today's speaker, Dr. Dilip Barad. Dr. Dilip Barad is serving as a professor and head, Department of English and Dean, Faculty of Arts at Maharaja Krishna Kumar Singh Ji Bhavnagar University, Bhavnagar. Sir has been in the field of teaching the English language and literature for more than 20 years. He's associated with various include technology-aided teaching and learning, literary theory and criticism, post-colonial studies, cultural studies, etc. He has written a book and also got his research papers published in reputed national and he has also been working in the field of teacher training and has trained more than 700 teachers so far. Sir, we welcome you to this online book talk, and it is our privilege and we are honored to have you for this interesting online book talk. We have been organizing book talk since long at Marwadi University, and we have organized talks on various books ranging from literature to philosophy to economics to self-help books, etc. And we are delighted to have you for this book talk on Neil Postman's Technopoly. Sir, the stage is yours. Over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Mr. Jigar Abani and also the Marwadi University for initiating this very interesting sessions about talking about books, Books have very interesting ideas and sometimes very surprising ideas also. The book which we are going to talk today about is also very interesting and very relevant also. The book was published in 1992, around 1990s. So, but then the book has come to be very relevant coming down to 2020. This book has become very relevant. And then we are living now in this corona times, corona pandemic. So in this corona pandemic, in 2020, the book written in 1990s suddenly becomes very interesting to read. Let me start with a story. Let me tell a small story, a brief story. There is a god named Thyut. Thyut. He is god of invention. He is god of invention. Greek god Thyut. T-H-E-U-T-H. God Thyut. Let me like, if I want to put something like a crown on his face and I want to make a god out of this. God who comes with various kinds of inventions. There is this. And there is the aura on this god. The aura of the god that is there. Now this god went to one king. He went to the king named as Themis. The god went to the king Themis there. Well, let us say this is perhaps our king, and a very interesting king also here. This is our king, King Themis in Egypt. Egypt. Thyut went to this king and told that I have invented a couple of things for you. I have invented, for example, writing. I have invented writing. I have invented geometry. I have invented astronomy and lot many things. Numericals and lot many things I have invented. God of invention. We have Vishwakarma. We have the image of Vishwakarma, the god of invention. This is the Greek god, Theoth, god of invention. Went to King Thames of Egypt of bygone ages and told that, well, these are the things I have invented. I want to give to you. I want to give this to you. Well, the king is asking, what is the use of all these inventions? What is the use of all this invention that you are saying? Well, this king, this god said that the purpose is that it will improve memory and wisdom of your people. It will improve memory and wisdom of your people. And so your people will become more intelligent. Your people will become more intelligent with powerful memory and wisdom also there. Very important invention was writing also, because it is here that we want to concentrate more rather than any other things that were invented by this god here. King Themis's answer was very interesting, and I would like to read from the book. From the book, I would like to read this, that what was the answer of King Themis. Theoth inventions went to Themis, said this. King is asking, what is the purpose? Theoth says, it will improve memory and wisdom of your people. Your people will become more intelligent if you will use these inventions made by me. Answer of King Themis. King Themis's answer. We are in 2020. This is about bygone ages. The book written in 1990s. And today, I'm reading this. Theoth, the king, tells to the god. This was a very interesting era in our myths, mythologies. We have a very interesting era where gods and human beings used to interact with each other. Gods and human beings. Gods used to come down, humans used to go up. And then there was very interesting interaction between gods and humans. Now perhaps we have lost that interaction with these kinds of a divine power or somewhere different kinds of people there. But then this time, Themis, Theoth, he says, my paragon of inventors, my god of inventors, inventions, paragon of all the inventors, god of the gods of the inventions, the discoverer, this is very interesting statement, the discoverer of an art is not the best judge of the good or harm which accrue to those who practice it. The one who discovers, the one who invents the thing, they are not the best judge whether those inventions are good or bad. It is going to be better or harmful to the people. They, the one who are inventors, they cannot do that judgment. So it is in this, you who are the father of writing, who is the father, the inventor, father of writing, have out of fondness for your offspring attributed to it quite the opposite of its real function. The purpose, the function, he says, memory and wisdom for writing, he says you have given totally opposite function to it. Those who acquire it will cease to exercise their memory and become forgetful. With the invention of writing, instead of memory, we will have forgetfulness. We may have forgetfulness. They will rely on writing to bring things to their remembrance by external signs. External signs, in English we have A, B, C, D, the alphabets. Ka, Kha, Ga in Gujarati or Hindi or Devanagari. but these are the external signs with the help of which we will try to bring things to our remembrance. What you have discovered is a receipt of recollections, not for memory. This is just a receipt of recollection. It is not a memory. And as for wisdom, and so far as this wisdom is concerned, your pupils will have the reputation for it without the reality. People will have an illusion of being wisdom. Illusion, without having a reality, of people will have illusion. They will receive a quantity of information. They will receive quantity of information through alphabets and numericals with proper instructions, and consequence be thought very knowledgeable when they are for the most part quite ignorant. They will be in the illusion of being knowledgeable, but actually they will be ignorant. That is what Themis is answering to Atyut. And because they are filled with the conceit of wisdom, conceit, illusion, a fakeness about being full of wisdom, fakeness of this, these people will be burden on society. These people will become a heavy burden on society. Now, this answer is very interesting answer. Today, we are not talking about writing. Today, what we see is technology. Today, we see technology, and one of the best form of technology that has come to us is in form of search engines. Yes, search engines. And this invention of search engines, the best of all, as we know it, is Google. As normally we go to that, and many times we call it, now this is our Googleshwar Mahadev. Whatever you want to ask, Googleshwar Mahadev will be there to answer. This is the new God. This is the new demigod, which is knowing everything. Is all-knowing God. Google becomes the all-knowing God. So whatever I want to know, I go to search engines, and then I ask. One of that is this. So what was the fear in the bygone ages about writing is now the fear about search engines in Google. And so what happens is that if everything is known by Google, I think I do not require a memory. I think I do not require a wisdom, because everything is in my pocket. Everything, I will just keep my mobile and I will ask and I will come to know. And so I will start believing that I am knowledgeable person. Actually, I may be an ignorant person also. Actually, I may be an ignorant person, but I will start believing that I have the knowledge because Google has a knowledge. The search engine knows everything. So I think that it is on my fingertips and I can go. The illusion. And these people will be burden on society. Themis's answer is very relevant in today's context also. When Neil Postman was writing all this thing in 1990s, this technology or the search engines or the handy use of technology in terms of mobiles, where our libraries has become has come into our pocket, or our theaters have come down into our pockets, all our books, everything is in our pocket now, was not even visualized during those years. Was not even visualized. But then his insight was very interesting. His insight was very interesting in this context when we see these things are there. But the point that we want to make here, and what he also is making here, is very significant. I'm not going to talk here something against technology. The title is very interesting. The subtitle of this book, Technopoly, is very interesting. The surrender of culture to technology. So obviously, it seems to give us an impression that this book is all about anti-technology, that all technology is bad, one should not use technology. The immediate question that can come to anybody's mind is that it is technology through which we are interacting. It is this technology through which we are interacting. And on the same platform, are we sitting down here to say that technology is bad? What is the relevance of Themis's answer? What is the truth? How far it can be accepted fairly well? against what the god of invention has given in form of all these things, and even in terms of technology is the question. So, well, we don't want to blather against technology as such, but what is important to be seen, which Neil Postman also has seen, is that what is the status of writing today? What is the status of writing today? And today, after 2000 years of this, because this story is told by Plato. This is coming from Plato's work, and the name of the work is Phaedrus. In Phaedrus, this is the name of the work by Plato. There, Plato is narrating this story in his book Phaedrus. But we should remember that, well, Plato is a very interesting philosopher, but it doesn't mean that he was right all the time. It doesn't mean he was right all the time. Neil Postman's arguments are very interesting, but not necessary that he is right all the time. That also is something very interesting. Plato, in another work known as Republic, another work that is Republic, in Republic he has written that, well, poets should be banished. We don't want poets in our ideal state. Poets are not required at all. And we know that, well, his observation about literature and poet also was faulty into some extent, if we bring out of the context in which he was talking there. So in this work, Phaedrus gives this story. Neil Postman says that, well, what is the status of writing today? Well, today writing is the most important thing that we require. We can't exist without writing. So the god of invention, Tooth, the way he invented, he told that this will be helpful to the people in memory or wisdom. We know today that all our wisdom, all our knowledge is in form of writing today. If it is not in form of writing, it is not considered as knowledge. The orality of our knowledge systems, is almost dead now. We have to write down everything. And now in terms of technology, we have to convert it into digital form also. Otherwise, our knowledge is dying very quickly there. Writing is helping our memories also. We know it very well. When students prepare for exams, for them, writing down is supporting their memory. And even our examination systems also is stressing on writing a lot. It is also stressing a lot on writing. So it is education system, or it is knowledge systems. It is something about the wisdom and other kinds of thing. Writing is at the center. It means that Themis has gone wrong. Themis was wrong then. Plato also was wrong when he was using this example in Phaedrus. Somewhere he has gone wrong in calculating the importance of writing. So what point we come to know here is that what is Technopoly? What is Technopoly actually? What do we mean by this? Let me share a screen. Let me share a screen here and let you know. Just a minute. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let me share my screen here and yeah, okay. So, Technopoly. What is this Technopoly? It defines Technopoly as a society in which technology is deified. Deified means making avatar, making God from something that is deification. That is deification. Deify means making God out of something. Technology is as if having great influence like God. A meaning, the culture seeks its authorization in technology, finds its satisfactions in technology, and takes its orders from technology. That is Technopoly. It is characterized by a surplus of information generated by technology, which technological tools are in turn employed to cope with in order to provide directions and purpose for society and individuals. And we know that this is exactly what is actually happening with this technology. But our point also is to see that how far this Technopoly, for example, writing has become a Technopoly. How writing has become a Technopoly, that today we, for example, seek our authorization from writing. We find our satisfaction in writing. We take our orders from writing also. That is a very interesting point that we have to keep here in mind here. So what point comes here is about invisible technologies. Not like Google is visible, computer is visible, television is visible, mobile phone is very much visible. These are things which are visible. But what we have to see here is about invisible technologies. And when we talk about invisible technologies, what becomes important to see here is that how our education system, statistics, writing, language, and at the end we will see artificial intelligence can be seen as technopoly. So technopoly, the argument that Neil Postman makes here is about how can we deeply observe the invisible technologies that we are surrounded by. I gave one example of writing, that we can't survive without writing. Plato was against writing. The King Themis told to Theophilus that, well, writing is not good for memory or wisdom. Today, we can't do without writing. We take our commands from writing and other things. The same way, these are also some very important points that we see. For example, let us see education system or academic system as technopoly. A technology that is all but invisible to those of us in the academic world is the practice of assigning grades to student examinations. The practice appears so natural that it seems scarcely possible that it has not been handed down from on high. In fact, Postman tells us the first non-instance of numerical ranking student examinations occurred at Cambridge University in 1792. From grades on examinations, it is only a short hope to ranking students numerically, and from there to that holy of holies, the grade point average point that becomes significant here. Okay? So, the point that comes here in a very interesting way is this, that in academic system, as soon as we get this idea about ranking people, and as soon as we start giving them marks, it says it was 1792, where first time in Cambridge University, the ranks, numerical marks were given to the people. And this in a review of this book done by Professor Paul D. Palma, he writes, he refers to American education system, and he questions this, that why exactly do courses in American universities last 15 weeks with 3 weekly meetings of like lectures for 50 minutes or 55 minutes or 1 hour kind of lectures? A course is put forward as a desirable structure for learning when in fact it is only a structure for allocating space, for convenient record keeping, and for control of faculty time. The point is that the origin of and the raison d'etre for a course are concealed from us. This is a very interesting question that is raised, that academic system, numericals, the marks that are given to students. So from the students' angle, when we see, we find that, well, we can't do away with marking system. We can't do away with ranking systems. We can't do away with ranks and marks, which are nothing but in a way, these are numericals. These are numerical forms which tell us something about those things. But no, we can't do it, because all our progression from one school to another school, from one standard to another standard, from a school to universities, from universities to job markets, everywhere marks and ranks matter a lot. In jobs also there are marks, in interviews there are marks. So we are now controlled by marking system. We are controlled by these numericals. These numericals control our entire academic system. These are invisible technologies. That is what Neil Postman says, technopoly here. And for teachers, he says that why 15 weeks? One semester should be of 15 weeks. Why? There should be 50 to 60 minutes of class. Why? Why? What is this? What is the purpose of this? The actual purpose of all this thing perhaps is concealed from teachers also, faculty members also. The entire system operates in such a way that there is somebody invisible from somewhere is controlling everything. Like when we say Google, well, and where is Google? Where is search engine? There is nobody there. There is nobody on the other side, but it keeps on controlling us. That it will give us an information, we'll say this is right, this is wrong. We will only see what Google is showing to us. We can't see beyond that. But where is Google? Who is operating? There is nobody as such. In the same way, in academic environment also, the way marks control, the way ranks control, the way teachers curriculum is controlled, the way time frames are controlled of 15 weeks of semester or the number of lectures and everything, whose purpose, everything is concealed. And so academic world is a very interesting technopoly which Neil Postman tries to look at here. Okay? So this becomes very interesting when we see that it is not only technology, it is lot many other things that we see into this here. Okay? Let me share my screen again to see something interesting here. Okay. Okay, so academic we have seen here. So he says that invisible technologies, if we define ideology as a set of assumptions of which we are barely conscious, but which nonetheless directs our efforts to give shape and coherence to the world, then our most powerful ideological instrument is the technology of language itself. Technology of language itself. Language is a pure ideology in that term. So academic is controlled, then language, it goes beyond even writing also. Language becomes an ideology, whether it is oral or writing, but language is something that keeps on controlling us. I would like to take this test for everybody to prove this example here, that if we show this image to the people and we ask a question, the question is made up of language, the question is made up of our language. And we are asking this question that whose body language speaks of self-confidence? Yeah? Whose body language speaks of self-confidence? That is the question that we are asking here. And then, well, people will see the image, and well, we all will conclude that the women standing outside the railings seems to have more confidence. So that is the center of our worldview. That is the center of our image. And another woman is on the periphery. The another woman is somewhere on the margins. There in the peripheral thing. So the meaning of this sentence, whose body language speaks of self-confidence, is one picture. The other picture is not an image of that. When I ask another question, for example, let us see how this language operates. With which color pencil is the cat on the cup drawn? If I ask this question, that with which color this is drawn, then obviously we will see that, well, the black seems to be at the center of the thing. Black seems to be at the center of this image. Why? Because the question was, the language in the question was, with which color pencil is the cat on the cup drawn? If I ask another question, let us check general knowledge. Let us check general knowledge. Now, if as soon as somebody is asking us the question, let us check general knowledge, we become extra alert. We become extra alert. Well, now I will be judged. Now I will be tested. Will I know this question or not? This will be a very simple question. And what will happen? So we suddenly become alert. Now this, our becoming suddenly alert to this, that let me check your general knowledge, it itself is the control of invisible technology. It is a control of invisible tech, that is technopoly. That is how Neil Postman tries to say that language also has this to do. And the question, for example, is something like, what is Jawaharlal Nehru's son's name? What is the name of Jawaharlal Nehru's son? And then the answer of this question goes somewhere in this way, like save the girl child. Now, is this the right answer? Well, it depends upon in which context we were reading the question. If this question was the campaign for save the girl child, then the question does not require the answer about that general knowledge, that how many children so and so person had. It's not about that. It is something else that is hidden into this question and this language there. Coming back to the same image again, coming back to the same image, but let me change the language. Let me change the language. Now I say that ideal Indian women, identify ideal Indian women in this picture. Now you will see that suddenly the focus of this worldview or this picture, the centrality of the picture will now change. And you will feel that how this language is an invisible technology which controls our way of looking at the world. It controls our way of looking, invisible way. The language controls the way we look at the thing. Now our center is shifted to the another image in this. In the same way, if I say that, do you believe in racism? And then I show this picture with this question, do you believe in racism? Then this picture will give us a completely different dynamics. That the black people are put aside, they are marginalized, and then the different people are on the other side there. So marginalization that becomes very significant in this. The black which was at the center earlier now suddenly shifts to the periphery in this particular example here. Okay? If I ask this questions, or like, this is a very funny way of looking at the thing, of everything. But there is a very interesting point in this. There's a very interesting point because we are looking at academic system also. When these questions are asked, and these questions are told, if they are written by student, then the student, for example, in an imaginary situation, is given 0 out of 10. Is given 0 out of 10. It is a make-believe kind of a thing. So don't believe that this is the right question paper, this is the right answers. No, it is just made out to prove a point there. The point that we want to prove in this is that in examination system, we require a particular kind of a language. If we write our answers in that language, then only we get full marks. That is the control of both the language as well as our academic world. How the academic world also controls as a technopoly, and how language also controls as a technopoly. And these are invisible technologies. That is what Neil Postman wants to say. These are not the examples given by Neil Postman. These are the examples to prove the arguments made by Neil Postman in his book Technopoly, and the surrendering of a culture to this technopolis, the invisible technology. Otherwise, we know that the person who has given these answers is very much aware about the question, very deeply aware. But the problem is that his writing answer has a different language. This language is not acceptable as such in this also. This is yet another funny example to prove this idea about the language and other things also, or the problem of communications that happens in this there. The person on the phone call is talking that I am sure we will enjoy working together, and then the wife is listening that, and wife imagines that who will be on the other side of the phone. Who will be on the other side of the phone, that is imagined with the help of this language that is used. And the language says, enjoy working together. We will enjoy working together. Now, these words which are spoken will give an image in the mind of somebody that who will be on the other side, that this gentleman will enjoy working together. And she imagines that maybe there will be some beautiful secretary, a beautiful women will be there, somebody who would be very attractive in different form, that the husband is saying that we will enjoy working together. The actuality of the things may be completely different. The fact is, like, he is talking to his boss, and we can see the image also that he has to say we will enjoy working together, because he cannot say to his boss that we will not enjoy working together. So why she thought what she thought, and how language conditions our worldview. So this language is a very interesting technopoly, invisible technology, which in a way controls or tries to see the things in a different way. There are some questions also. We'll take the questions also. I was just reading a chat here, but if there are any questions, we'll take it also. There. I would like to show a couple of videos here. I would like to show a couple of videos to make this point about invisible technologies very significant in this context here. So this videos, and it will have some text also. It will have some text also. Let me share This, okay, fine. And it has some sound also. Let me share an audio also. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. To prove the point about Technopoly as language, we try to see this here. Okay. So what we will see here. Yeah, okay. Let's view this advertisement. What we are going to watch here is a small advertisement. We are supposed to identify the product. The product. The advertisement is for which product? That is what we have to identify. Is it about firecrackers? Yes. Is this advertisement about firecrackers? Courier service? Anti-roach spray? Anti-cockroach spray? Gas cylinder? Or is it about a campaign about save fuel, save environment? Or is it about matchbox? Or it is about old age worries? Old age worries. What is this? So you will see that there are lots of things, firecrackers to courier service to anti-roach spray to gas cylinder kind of thing. Save fuel, save environment, matchbox, old age. Lots of things are there, and quite opposite also there. So when we watch this advertisement, let us try to see what do we get from this. Okay, let me play this ad here.
मैंने कुरियर कर दिया था सर जी, शुक्रवार को 11:30 बजे सुबह कर दिया था। हाँ जी, क्या नहीं मिला आपको? मिल जाएगा सर, मिल जाएगा ना सर, क्यों परेशान हो रहे हैं आप? हाँ जी सर, मैंने कुरियर कर दिया है। सर कभी चीजें मतलब आप समझ नहीं रहे मेरी बात को। आपको क्यों ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैंने कुरियर नहीं किया है? सर संडे को मैं कहाँ जाऊंगा आप बताइए मुझे। सर संडे को कौन सा कुरियर वाला खुला रहता है सर, आप बताइए मुझे। सर मैं अपने आप को आपकी जगह रखकर देख रहा हूँ, लेकिन सर आप मेरी बात को समझने की कोशिश तो कीजिए सर। सर एक दिन का सवाल है, आप सर आज संडे है, कल मंडे है, मैं सर आप अजीब तरीके से बात कर रहे हैं सर। ईशा तुमने बाहर के कपड़े निकाल दिए? जाओ जल्दी निकालो। हाँ सर मैं कह रहा हूँ कल मंडे है, आ जाएगा सर कल सुबह। आप हमारे
This advertisement, this advertisement was about not about any of those objects, but it was about the cricket match between India and Pakistan, and it was about hypertension. It was more about a hypertension rather than any other thing. It was about hypertension there, and not about cockroach spray or other kinds of things which was being used in this. But when we give that words that, well, this ad is about this, so we will start looking at this ad from that angle only. That is the point, that once we are given a language, we can't escape the snarls of language. We can't escape the traps of language. And it's so within inside, it is very difficult to identify this also. Let me see another video. Let us see another video here. And this is about, from language, we are talking about camera. Language and camera. And we'll try to see that how we can combine both these things together also. A small video. Let us see here. Okay?
Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Why, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
But how did you know?
Madam, as any horticulturist will tell you, one does not plant petunias until May is out. Take her away.
Sorry, madam.
It's just a matter of observation. The real question is, how observant were you?
Now, in this video, the camera was moving along with that, along with the person who is speaking, and there were close-ups being shown there. While that one camera was moving along in the room, there was one camera which was static and which was trying to capture that how many things are changing while the camera is moving on. And it says that around there were changes like 21. There were 21 changes by the time camera started rolling, from the beginning till the point that it came, where the person comes near a camera and says, how many things have you noticed? How observant were you? 21 things have changed. The posters on the background had also changed in that context. The posters in the background, the clothes also, the person lying on the body, the dead body itself was changed also. But then when the camera is rolling across, we are not able to see the whole picture. We are not able to see the whole picture. Let us see the same sequence shot from a long shot camera, a static camera, a long shot camera here.
Action. Clearly, somebody in this room murdered Lord Smythe, who, at precisely 3:34 this afternoon, was...
You can see that even the flower vase is changed. The sofa set is changing. The utensils in the hands are changing. The person lying there, dead body lying there, will also change. But we are seeing now the entire room from a long shot. Earlier, it was another camera which was taking us and showing close-ups.
Brutally bludgeoned to death with a blunt instrument. I want each of you to tell me your whereabouts at precisely the time that this dastardly deed took place.
I was polishing the brass in the master bedroom.
I was buttering his lordship's scones below stairs, sir.
Why, I was planting my petunias in the potting shed.
Constable, arrest Lady Smythe.
Yes. So this is that idea that how this technopolis keep on controlling the things in an invisible way, how they keep control over the things there. Coming back to my slides, let me come back to the slides. Yeah, okay. So this language or this camera, the language or the camera that we see here, they all become a part of those technopolis. They become a part of the technopolis and they remain invisible. They do not allow us to see the things in totality. So how can we face this? This becomes very interesting question also. It also is given by Neil Postman that even the grammar, English grammar, for example, has its own aggression. English grammar, subject always acts, verbs are their actions, and objects are acted upon. Even this grammar gives an example of aggressiveness, made to think world as malignant rather than benign, pushing and attacking one another. So the grammar of language, the invisible way of controlling the language which is very much inside us, like the close-up camera, and the camera doesn't allow us to look everything in totality, all the kind of changes, how the language also blindfolds us into several kinds of things. It is said that a special effort and training are required to detect the presence of this technopolis. A special effort and training are required to detect its presence. Unlike television or the computer, language appears to be not an extension of our power, but simply a natural expression of who and what we are. This is the great secret of language, because it comes from inside us. We believe it to be a direct, unedited, unbiased, apolitical expression of how the world really is. We believe that this is very true. This is genuine language. It is direct, it's unedited, unbiased, apolitical expression. But and we accept what the language tells us. We accept what the camera is showing to us. Machine is outside of us, easy to see its functioning. So we can see what damage television or a computer can do, but I can't detect the functioning of language. But language, difficult to detect its presence and its mechanism also. Neil Postman in this book also questions the very form of question. Question is a part of language. When we ask a question about should we celebrate Save the Girl Child or an ideal Indian women's self-confidence, we are also binding people to look at that particular question in a particular way. That is a camera's close-up. Our question becomes camera's close-up, and it doesn't allow, or it doesn't give openness to see the things without the control of question. The form of question even block us from seeing solutions to problems that become visible through a different question. Questions are like computers or televisions or stethoscopes or lie detectors, in that they are mechanisms that give direction to our thoughts, generate new ideas, venerate old ones, expose facts, or even hide them. Yes, they are like these machines. This question itself is a technopoly, and they are the mechanism that give directions to our thoughts, generate new ideas, venerate old ones, expose facts, and or hide them also. Let us see this example. It's a very funny example, but this example also says the structure of any question is as devoid of neutrality as is its content also here. The form of a question may ease our way or pose obstacles. The form of a question may ease our way or pose obstacles, or when even slightly altered, it may generate antithetical answers. It may generate antithetical answers. Let us see this example. Two priests asking Pope if it was permissible to drink and pray at the same time. Yeah, and one priest is asking, is it permissible to drink while praying? And another one is asking, is it permissible to pray while drinking? And we know that we will get antithetical answer. The priest one will get an answer that no, you can't drink while praying. But another one will say that, well, you can pray while drinking. So our question also is devoid of neutrality. And these are the very interesting technopolies that work within us to see that how this in an invisible way we are in a way control of language, or like a camera. The questions also control our answers, and even our way of looking at the world, our way of finding solutions. Everything is in a way controlled. This is Technopoly, what it says here. We have seen this. And finally, we come down to see that what are the new challenges for our time there today. Now, these things are not discussed as such by Neil Postman in the book. They are not discussed. But our problem, obviously, today is more about what we call is artificial intelligence. Our problems of what we call today is more about our artificial intelligence and how we see these things. That becomes very significant here. Let me just switch over the camera. I think there was earlier a problem of seeing the screen. Now, is the screen visible? Is it okay? Are you able to read on the screen? Are you able to read properly? This thing.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, earlier I got
yes,
it
sir.
was inverted. It was not flipped, I think. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now it is legible.
Now it is eligible. No, okay. So on my screen it was inverted. So I thought on the other side also it will be inverted. These are the things about technologies, that when you work on Meet, it is different. On Zoom, it is different. On this StreamYard, it is different. So we were doing rehearsals also in the beginning, but then this was not identified when we were doing rehearsal, that earlier it was a little bit flipped. This was the point that we were talking about, the theory and the themis kind of idea, writing and other things in the initial part. In the final part, let me see this artificial intelligence as a technology or a technopoly, and what kind of questions which are being faced nowadays around all this thing, that it becomes a very important or very interesting to observe in this aspects here. Okay? So lots of this research being done into this aspect, which tries to say that how this our way of looking at technology or this artificial intelligence, which controls our way of looking at the things, is also going to do a kind of a damage. There were a couple of questions asked by Aditi Singh. Aditi Singh has put some very interesting questions in the chat, which I was just looking when the video was being played. At that time I was trying to see those, and I think there are some answers are there in this part of this talk also, about how we look at the very idea of this is artificial intelligence. Yeah. So how this AI, as popularly we call it, and it is operating nowadays, and as technology obviously seriously becomes a technopoly, goes beyond the language and other kinds of things, we have started taking our instructions from technology in different ways. We have started going to the data that is coming from this statistics, and this machines are giving us data, and data is becoming our truth now. Data is becoming our truth now. Data is the truth. We are making our decisions. Our decisions are made based on the data that we have. Now, if this data is problematic, if there is a problem, the data is processed by artificial intelligence, the coding that is done by human beings. If our code has a particular gaze, it has a particular gaze, or it has a particular bias. If it has a bias, then what can be done? Then how can we do? So that becomes very, and very interesting research has come out, which tries to question these things about the last part here. Well, let me share some of the slides to speak about these points here. Okay. So some of the researches that has come up, and some of the names that I can give is about Kirti Sharma, Robin Hauser, Timnit Gabru, Joy Biolam-Vini. They are the researchers into looking at biases in artificial intelligence. Can we protect AI from human biases? Yeah? See, we are not able to do the same thing with language. Yeah? With language, we still have a problem of controlling that. So we don't know whether we will be able to do these things with those things or not. So this TED talk, the research done here by Robin Hauser about code debugging, the gender gap, the gender issue, that becomes important in that research, or even Kirti Sharma's, which was published in Harvard Business Review, becomes very interesting point to say that how artificial intelligence is also biased towards gender. Our language is biased towards gender. It is very patriarchal, which we have studied and we are trying to study, and we are trying to remove the patriarchal implications of language also, slowly and steadily. But our coded artificiality, our coded artificial language, our intelligence also is now, because the coders are also human beings. Coders are also human beings. If the coders are biased, or commercially they want more advantage from AI to give them more profit in a particular way, then they will allow those biases to operate. It may be about gender, or it may be about race also. It may be about racism, and those things can also be an important thing. In today's newspaper itself, you might have seen this news of Timnit Gabru, and it is nowadays a controversial thing. It has become quite a viral on Twitter and other things also, that this lady, this researcher in AI has been forced to resign from Google, because it says that when we look at this idea about ethics and morality concerned with artificial intelligence, there are lots of research which is still required to be done about ethics and morality of artificial intelligence. And her Her research says that, well, because there are less numbers of black in Google company, it is biased towards white people and black people. So many of the findings of artificial intelligence is working in a different way for white people or for black people also there. And apart from this, this point about gender, race, we go beyond this into the human morality. Then we find that when we are going towards drone-driven cars or robot-driven cars or driverless cars, when we move towards that, at that time also these concerns are very important. For example, if you are driving a car, let us take this case study. If you are driving a car and you are supposed to meet with an accident because there is a brake failure in your car, you came to know that there is a brake failure and now you are going to collide. Now you have a couple of choices. There is a little child playing in a corner, there is an old couple of walking on the sideways, and then there is another truck coming from the other side. On the fourth side there is another bicycle or a bike going on. You have four choices where to take your car. Somebody is going to die. कोई तो मरने वाला है, आप सबको बचा नहीं सकोगे. Somebody is going to die in this. And then what will be your choice? What will be your choice in this context? That will perhaps become a very important context here. So you are driving a car, you have four choices: little boy, a couple walking there, a truck coming from there, another bike or a cyclist is going somewhere. You are going to collide. What will be your decision? What your ethics will tell you? Now, what we are going to do, that our machines are going to do. If I think that, well, let old people die because they have lived their life, then my machine also will think that old people are not necessary. If I say that, well, let me kill this bicycle rider or a bike rider, then I would say that, well, as compared to car, bicycle rider or bike riders are not so important people. I will not go towards a truck because that will damage me. My security is more important. That is what machine will also think, that my security is more important than another person's. I will not go there. If I see the child, I will say that, well, child is the future, so I should not kill the child. So that is what machine is going to think. Now, this is the MIT project going on. The link which was available on that slide, it was about Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where this moral machine project is going on. And you can play this game. You can play this game on that site while going on there and say. So it's a very, very complex situation that we are in. Very complex situation. Whether if we have to make moral and ethical choices, it is very difficult for us. The same is the case going to be about our artificial intelligence also in different contexts there. Well, let me conclude this with this idea coming from his book, that the central theme of this book is very interesting. The central theme of this book, Neil Postman's Technopoly, is very interesting, which is very useful in a way that it says that the theme, he states that embedded in every tool is an ideological bias. Embedded in every tool, there is ideological bias. It is embedded in all the tools, all the tools. And now we know what is this tools. Language is a tool. Language is a tool. Writing is a tool. Everything is a tool. It is not only something that is outside. Mobile is a tool. No, it is something very much inside us, language. And embedded in every tool is an ideological bias, a predisposition to construct the world as one thing rather than another, to value one thing over another. What kind of biases are there? To value one thing over another, to amplify one sense of skill or attitude more loudly than another, to a man with a hammer. It's very interesting because this book is very witty also. The book is very humorous and witty. This to a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Everything looks like a nail. To a man with a pencil, everything looks like a list. With a pencil, everything looks like a list. To a man with a computer, everything looks like a data. Everything looks like a data there. So it's a very interesting book to be read in our times, where artificial intelligence is going to decide a lot about our data, and our life is going to be decided by the data. We have to see that our coders are preparing machines in such a way that can we escape these biases? Can we escape all these ideological biases? And can we think that, well, machines will give us unbiased result? Today, it is not so. Today, it is not so. Machines and our technology is not giving us unbiased result. The examples that I have given are the proof to prove that artificial intelligence has this gender bias, race bias, civil rights, and many other things are a problematic thing. So the computer claims sovereignty over the whole range of human experiences and supports its claim by showing that it thinks better than we can. Computer is trying to be more powerful, more smarter, and tries to say that, well, computer can think better than us, faster than us, more precisely than us. We have to question all these things. We have to question all those kinds of things, that what kind of thinking is computer doing. There is a speed, but in which direction that it is going, that direction also is necessary to be judged along with the speed. Finally, I would like to end with this with a very interesting observation done by one reviewer, Professor Paul de Palma, and it says that, however, a small criticism of an eminently readable and entertainingly argued book. This is a very interesting book. It is worth reading book. Even if you do not agree with all the ideas given by Neil Postman, then also it is worth reading. It is something very interesting to look into it. The next time that you are lost in cyberspace, wondering if all of this information has made us wiser, kinder, happier, pick up Postman's book, Technopoly, The Surrender of Culture to Technology. It's a healthy defense. It's a healthy defense against the blather about computer technology that you will find in the morning paper or in the evening news. That is very interesting argument given about the computer technology that we are working on or surrounded by. So that's a brief introduction and some of the arguments based on that from Neil Postman's Technopoly, a surrender of culture to technology there. It will be interesting if we can take some of the questions also. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed an informative and interesting talk that you have delivered. And you have also answered a couple of questions asked by people in the comment section already. So we thank you for that also. Our registrar sir has also joined us. So I would like to request registrar sir to say a few words on this occasion and also give his closing remarks.
Okay.
Professor Dilip Barad, sir, it's a pleasure viewing our screen. It was like a performance. I have not seen any faculty fluidly using such technology anywhere before.
Okay.
It's a heartily, I don't have words. We were just looking at it, the way you are, it was a performance, as if you are performing in on a stage kind of thing. I don't know how many hours that you have spent, by doing this in detail and all. But sir, I must say that surrendering culture to Technopoly, whether that's a question and debate and all that, but the utilization of technology, being a faculty and a professor of communication, I don't see any better example than this. Thank you very much, sir, for doing this. This is not only because generally our book talks are, we want our viewers that they be inspired to read book. But after doing this, going through this book talk, they'll be inspired for so many more things. Thank you very much for doing it. And, the topic was so important, and the way you have handled it, I don't think any other person other than you could have, given a justice to that topic. So great, sir. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure doing this, and we wish that, we continue such kind of interaction. I think your session was not only about a book, it was about many more aspects of life. So on behalf of Marwadi University, I very happily say that it was an incredible experience last 1 hour with you. Thank you very much for doing it, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for your good words. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time on Sunday morning, particularly. And we have been receiving interesting comments in the comment section. So thank you once again for motivating us, for coming here and sharing your wise words with us. And we also thank all the viewers who are watching us live on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining with us. Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks to Professor Jiwani sir and Dr. Bhavdeep Chawda, who messaged me that there is a flip screen that was supposed to be done. So thanks to the viewers like Professor Mahesh Jiwani sir, who is working in Saurashtra University, and Dr. Bhavdeep Chawda for messaging me that there is a need for that. So we were able to flip the screen also. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to Marwadi Institute for giving this opportunity also. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.